In the time we have remaining, we have so many reader questions, so I'm going to try to get to as many as we can. A reader named John Franco 888 wants to know, Chad from the Chili Peppers is doing his group Chickenfoot. Would you ever consider doing a quote-unquote super group of this nature?
No. I like making music by myself. I wouldn't play, if I played with, first of all, I've never heard of Chickenfoot, and I didn't even know Chad was doing that, so I don't know who that is or why he's doing it. I'm not comparing myself to him. I'm just saying that for me, like if I play with people, it's 100% because of the musical relationship, and I have no interest in sort of, I don't want to sound like I'm comparing myself to him because I don't know what he's doing. It's just, I wouldn't play with people because they were like also stars and we would go up on stage and be stars together or something. You know, it's just, that's not me, you know. And I usually find that I don't relate to people who think that way because it's less about music and it's more about who they are or something. And I'm really like, I just don't think, I think kind of in general the personality has been overemphasized and music has been underemphasized, and it's definitely my intent to do everything that I can for the rest of my life, just to think of music as a living being and to think what I can do for music and not to think what music can do for me, you know. And I hope that in my own small way that I can spread that philosophy around a little bit, because I really think too much emphasis has been placed on the star, and I think music is very complete without all the crap that goes along with like fame and ego and all that stuff, you know, photos and videos and all that stuff. I just think music is sufficient unto itself, and nothing could be more complete, and all those things have just been invented to sell it by business people, you know, and I just don't think that music needs it, you know, and I think that in a lot of ways people experiment less when they have their fame to protect or their income to protect or their way of life to protect, you know, and so much emphasis ends up, and I feel like they do less experimentation with music when you're thinking that way. I know I did, you know. I'm 100% about just thinking in terms of what can be done with what new approaches can be taken to making music, and where are some possibilities that people haven't explored yet, you know, not like, what can I do that'll knock people's socks off, you know what I mean? It's like, that's just where I'm at, you know. It's like, I mean, I love Blind Faith. There's definitely super groups that I think are awesome, you know, but at this point in time, I think it's just necessary to really emphasize where the possibilities are in music, and not anything about like, this band will be huge.
A reader named Telefaster wants to know, when you pick up the guitar, do you ever have times when nothing seems to be coming out right? If so, what do you do?
That doesn't really happen to me because I kind of care more about studying music and exploring possibilities than I do about doing anything right. If there's not an idea there when I pick up a guitar, I'm just going to be learning stuff off records or studying a chord book, or you know, or learning a classical piece out of a book, or you know, mostly since I was 12, I just learned stuff off records, and I don't put that pressure on my relationship to the instrument to walk over to it and to figure I'm going to play something brilliant. You know, I practice so much and listen so much that eventually somebody like does something on a record that strikes you, or you realize that some sort of combination of intervals or some certain kind of rhythmic phrase like strikes a chord in you. Ideas come forth from there. You know, it's really you know, it's the whole principle of the way they put music together in hip hop and stuff. You just take little pieces from different things and put them in a new context and reorganize them and bend them and, you know, slice them up, and then there's your ideas, you know. I think that kind of stuff only happens when people like have too much of a emphasis in their approach to wanting a result.
Right.
You know, having those kind of goals and those kind of that result-oriented thinking is real limiting to what you can do, and real limiting on how much fun you can have when you're doing it. You know, it's important to remember that there's an endless supply of creativity available in the universe. That creative force that all music has come from is plentiful, and it's never going to run out. And as long as you don't psych yourself out by putting pressure on yourself and by judging everything that you do, if you just listen to music and explore the possibilities of your instrument, it's just always going to be there. You don't have to worry about it, you know. It only happens when you make too much of a agenda of trying to do something that's going to blow people away or something. Like if you just remember that you're just always just going to be an unimportant person, no matter how much people may tell you that you're important. It's never the person that's important, and nobody should be intimidated by stars like Jimi Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen or whoever. It's just like those people, they're all just little guys who love music, you know, and what they do has been great only in as much as they love music and in as much as they practiced their instrument a lot and gave a lot of love to it, you know. Like, as long as you do that stuff, you don't need to worry about the result, you know. You'll get there when you're meant to, and you'll come up with things when you're meant to, and you'll have a good time the whole time as long as you're studying all the brilliant stuff. We're so lucky we have CDs and records to study, and it's an opportunity to think the way somebody else was thinking. When you play along with something, you're actually like almost like experiencing the same moment that they experienced, and feeling what they felt and doing what they're doing. It's like a mirror through it's like a mirror through like 40 years of time or whatever. If you learn something that happened 40 years ago, you know, it was a little moment in the studio, and then you're recreating that moment with your instrument because you play the same instrument as them. It's amazing, you know. It's all like an incredible gift, and nobody should put that burden on music to feed their ego in the way that they want it, when they expect that everything that comes out of them should be something like fantastic, you know.
A reader by the name of Porcelain says, I've been playing the guitar for a long time. I admire your style. I want to know, in your opinion, is theory necessary to play the guitar, or is playing guitar emotionally enough?
I definitely think it's enough to just use your emotions. I think a lot of brilliant music's been made like that. It just depends on what you want to do, you know. It's like, I don't think somebody should learn theory just because I say it's a good idea, but for me, it's been a really good idea, and it just gives me more insight into the music that I learn, and I don't think of each note and each relationship in a given piece of music as just being something that came out of thin air, which I think it might seem magical when you're a kid to, you know, I remember how it sounded when I used to listen to Kiss when I was a kid, and to me it just sounded like it all came out of thin air. I had no idea how any of it was being done or what the tonal or rhythmic relationships were, you know. It would just all sound like it came out of thin air, and that was a nice feeling. But I think if I would have remained seeing it that way, I think a lot of people, even when they learn stuff, when their brain doesn't find some way of finding a mental symbol that equals the intervallic relationship and the rhythmic relationships, I think that tendency to think of it as all just coming out of thin air and all as being kind of unrelated, I think that can be limiting. And I think if a person's going to be really good at it, like Jimi Hendrix was, or Johnny Marr is, or, you know, the guys in Fugazi are, it's like you in some way you